Good there. Make sure we got our chat turned on. Yes, sir. All right, we should be getting notifications here. Sneaking up on people, bro. Give it a second. What's happening, everybody? There's Brandon. Brandon, go say hi.
Hey guys.
It's a man of many words. Sorry, I'm just giving everybody a second to get in here. Just taking a look and making sure that we're on all three channels. So if you guys want to go ahead and let me know in the comments if you get notifications, I'd appreciate it. We'll go ahead and walk you through what we're doing here. So usually at about minute 1, it'll pop up. Like you should start seeing comments here in a second. Anything yet? Any comments? No? All right, they'll be coming in. Or they won't, in which case the internet is out to get me. Technologies is shadow banning. Well, either way, guys, so if you just tuned in, I told you earlier what we're going to be doing. We're up here on what was the CHOP, or the Chaz, originally up on Capitol Hill. Right here is 12th and Pine, which is the East Precinct behind me. Now, the East Precinct, you guys remember, was the spark point for all the standoff. It was the precinct that was abandoned by the police. It wasn't technically occupied, but it was, I guess you could say, controlled by the crowd. So what was barricades, if you remember, they used to have the Jersey barriers that wrapped around the entire block, and it was surrounded by tents. I mean, everything you could possibly. You guys remember, and I'm going to put some video up later to show you what that was all about. But they've replaced that with a pretty large, like 12-foot tall, steel gate, which, not that they've seen problems in the last several months, but I know there was kind of direct action marches that made their way up to the precinct here, and I think that they were just kind of, planning for the worst, I suppose. But so we're going to walk around a little bit, take a look at the area, talk to some folks, and see what their take is on Cap Hill here, and see what kind of changes were made, if any, and how they feel about what's been going on here since the Occupy protests here in Seattle. Are you from Seattle? What? Why is that? I am worried about it. What's the problem, man? I was remarkably rude, man. What?
You know what? That is valid. I don't mean to be rude. My immediate gut reaction is people coming in to try to make a profit.
I live here.
Well,
I've been here since the jump. We're just doing a recap a year later with the reunion, or the Juneteenth celebration happening in the park.
You know what? That's a good point. I hope you have a good one.
Thank you. You too. Damn. So the response I got immediately was, fuck off. And I asked why, and he was like, don't worry about it. And I was like, well, you said it to me, so I should worry about it. He's like, I don't like people coming in here trying to profit off us. And I was like, wait, who's us, and who are people trying to profit off you? What money am I going to make off you, pal? If you're watching this, bro, I hope you feel bad, because that was remarkably rude. Then I said it was rude, and he's like, you're right, that's my bad. Have a good day. Like, what a tool, man. Seriously, jeez. Fuck off.
Everybody's like, what?
Take your rented scooter and eat a bag of balls, pal. All right, let's talk to some folks that actually. Excuse me, are you folks from Seattle here, in the area, the neighborhood? No, you're not. Okay. What about you, boss? You from this area? No. There's got to be somebody here. What about you two? Are you guys from Cap Hill here? What's that? No, you're not? You know what's crazy is, for a super inclusive neighborhood, this is so far like the most aggro group of tools that I've come across. Just gonna say it right now. You're doing fine. Keep it going. Let's walk and talk. Yeah, definitely.
Go to the field?
We will. Where people want us. No, it's just funny because what you're seeing now is like the plainclothes protesters. So no, leave it like that, dude. So a lot of the folks that are from Cap Hill here, you're seeing a lot of folks that would typically be out in block that were out protesting, doing their thing. And now it's kind of like, maybe they ran out of steam or something to, protest, but that anger is still there. So you got to channel it at somebody. Why not at the guy with the microphone, right? Which is interesting because, like, this spot right here, I spent countless hours, you guys remember, walking around through here, interviewing people left and right. Back then, it was so much more inclusive. People were so much more open and understanding and willing to actually have conversations out here, like during the protest, during the actual protest. And now I'm not going to use that as a prime example of what it's going to be like here, but these hipsters, man, so cool. Too cool to talk to you. What's up, man? You look like a casual cat. You live on the hill here?
Yeah.
What's up? You mind if we talk for a second? My name's CJ. I do a live stream show called CJ TV. Been out here for last year. We're just trying to do a recap on what people are feeling about how things have changed since the Occupy protest and since Chaz came and went.
I reflect on it a lot.
Yeah?
Walking around, just like, sure was different 6 months ago or
Yeah.
a year ago.
Have things changed much? I mean, in the way of what we would consider progress?
Progress. No, I'm not saying no or yes. I'm saying I just kind of reflect from an environmental change. It like looks and feels different. I can't speak on progress, but
Sure. Let me ask, did you ever feel unsafe during the Occupy protest?
yeah, totally.
Yeah. What was your biggest fear like during that?
I don't know. I'd walk through here a lot, and you got people with just like huge guns, like here to protect us. I'm not saying they weren't, but it didn't make me feel more safe. Like
Right.
just seeing a random person with a gun, and then seeing another guy with like a machete 5 feet away, and you're like, all right, okay, I don't know.
But they were here to protect you.
Yeah.
Did they say who they were protecting you from?
I think there was like 101 different agendas happening at
Exactly.
once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been a spark point for a lot of protests, a lot of people that are trying to push an agenda, and people that are looking to make some changes. Do you feel like that's a draw to this neighborhood, to this part of Seattle?
I think it's a more progressive place, and
Sure.
I don't know. For the record, I support pretty much all of them. I mean,
Yeah.
I think change is
Absolutely.
absolutely necessary. But like you said, I'm a casual guy. I just kind of stroll around.
You were just bopping through, man.
and observe it all.
I'm gonna tell you, the first guy I tried to talk to was on a Razor scooter, and he was like, "Fuck you," man. I was like, "Whoa! Why the hostility, man? Why the hostility?" Well, I appreciate you
I
chatting,
like your
man.
energy.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Take care. Enjoy. Let's bop this way. What's fun? Yeah. Okay. Good luck on that. It's a whole process. Oh shoot! I want to get hit by a car. That's the last thing we want to have happen today. You getting it? You getting it? Piece by piece. Here, take a look at the precinct. So, right here was like the front door to the precinct, and they have like a loading dock over there, right over there. And sorry, we're trying to work the shutdown on our equipment over here. There we go. That was a process, but we won. Yeah, this thing swivels. This tilts back and forth too, or you can use that too. There you go. Money. But the front door was right here. If you guys remember, you remember the first interview we did was right here. Those kids sitting on the curb. Yeah, making the signs. And then we talked to a couple here who I saw throughout the country for like the rest of the year. What's up, man? Like the rest of the year, I'd run into these cats like in DC. We ran into each other and down in Portland. Actually, that's about it. But still saw some people. Just packing it up. Brandon over here is just being the AV guy. Let's take a look at that fence real quick, man. And Brandon, I need you to go ahead and read comments for me too, boss. Let me know if anyone's got any questions that they need answered.
It's going by real quick.
Yeah, it'll chop through pretty fast. JP, you could actually jump on your phone if you want to play a part and like pick a platform like Facebook or YouTube and then just like look at the comments. What? Or not. You don't have to. Here, I can give you my phone if you want to do it. I got it. I'll do it myself. We're good. Looks like a chain link fence. It's crazy.
It's gonna Chop Alley remake. Somebody said.
Chop Alley remake. Oh man, yeah, we'll walk down that alley here in a second, actually. But if you remember, that was like the loading area down here where they had what was like the No Cop Co-op, which was down there at first, and it started off with just like one table, and it was a donation location where people could bring in all their, donation goods for not just the Occupy protest, but they were doing it kind of as a mutual aid station for all of Capitol Hill out here for the homeless community. They also had, if you remember right, they had tents set up with, that's brave, just leave your car running, SPD, top of the world. But they had clothing locations, donation bins and whatnot. But right up here, if you guys remember right, this was where, actually this was the scene of one of the shootings that took place where the victims of the gunshot wounds had to be taken to the hospital. And right up here was all just a bunch of tents and like donations and whatnot. And right across the street was the actual memorial. Right over here, actually, is right there, for one of the young people that were killed here on Cap Hill. So I'm gonna pull up comments while we're walking here. On we're gonna start off on Facebook. So if you guys are on Facebook, I'm gonna take a look at what y'all are saying over there. How we doing? I guess the world will never know. Questions are asked, no answers are given. So let me get in here and check out where we're at. All right. Now there's going to be a little bit of a lag, so you got to bear with me on that one. This is like a give a car, take a car situation right here. So I would recommend not taking said car. But where are we at over here? Baba Booey hit it on the head. Yeah, they got a car running with no key, with no one in it, but they ticket people for parking on the street in the wrong spot there. Yeah.
Somebody said the young man in the turtle, someone's father was shot yesterday. One of the parents of the kids.
One of the parents of the kid that was shot. I didn't catch that one, and I'm not sure if they actually caught the shooters who were involved in that in the Jeep shooting. But they were down here on Cal Anderson, like, you know, running through there. But concrete reporting was the question, was the outfit that I started. Well, I started off independent with my guy Brandon here. And then that turned into a rendezvous in the park over here at Cal Anderson with Ian from Concrete. And then we tag teamed, Ian, Shay, and I, and did our thing. This is the alley that people are probably talking about. Look at this. I'm not sure what this is all about, but so this is a counter. Okay, people will protest against anything. So this is the Chop 1 year reunion happening behind me over here. So people decided they weren't happy with the 1 year reunion, and so they're doing the anti 1 year reunion in a different spot, apparently, put on by the Riot Kitchen. Doing the same days. It says free food until free people. African American Heritage Museum. So I believe is over by the Jimi Hendrix Park. But it's like it's a battle for, who's going to be in charge of celebrating this 1 year. As if to say, like, one's not acceptable, but the other is.
Reunion.
Yeah. Telling you. But yeah, there was a ton of art right down here. Actually, this one looks like it was the same one that was here for a long time. The Unity, Diversity, and Freedom. Then they got the George Floyd one down there. But, yeah, it's funny. It's crazy. And then we had, if you guys remember, we're just going to take a walk through memory lane here. Right here, this building over here was always like graffiti art, but this guy, man, what's been going down, brother? How you been?
Good, how are you?
Good, man, good. Good to see you, Bob. Hey, what's up, Tom? This cat's an installation right here. Like, steady chilling, holding it down, cigar in hand, keeping it real. How are things going, man?
Good. Just got back in town last week.
Where you at? Off attacking fish somewhere?
I took a 2-month road trip, so I went out with Chai and Allie to Minneapolis, and then they flew back. I flew my daughter in, went down to the Kentucky Derby, Nashville, like
That's awesome.
all over the place. So
Nice.
yeah, don't miss that.
Let me ask you, man, you mind if we chat with you for 2 seconds here? I don't mean to interrupt if y'all are talking.
Sure.
So, like, when I first met you guys, it's the same spot, actually, sitting right here with, with Omari and whatnot. How have things changed, man? How do you think things have changed up here since the Chop?
you know, it seems like Capitol Hill is reopened. Most of the people here don't know much about the CHOP. One of the most annoying things is to hear people kind of walk by and give tours of what was formerly the CHOP,
Right.
and try to explain what was going on, but you can tell that they weren't actually there.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's
Has that been happening a lot?
oh yeah.
Because I had a guy, just the first guy we tried to talk to. Taco wants to be on frame. The first guy I tried to talk to was like hella standoff. She was like, man, fuck you. Like, people are coming in here trying to profit off us. And I guess that's what he was referring to.
I mean, I don't think most of it's people trying to profit. I think it's people that live around here weren't involved in any of it, but you know, it got so much attention that they're kind of showing the area
Yeah.
to their friends that are in town.
Sure. Well, I guess it has become a historic landmark now. I mean, it was
Yeah.
you know, the site of something pretty massive. For people that weren't here, I mean, I guess they really wouldn't appreciate just like kind of how big it was. But I guess if you were here, it didn't feel as big as I think it was to the rest of the world, you know, because it just became commonplace.
Yeah, I think there's just so much misinformation
Yeah.
that, you know, people assume that the whole block burned down, and
Right. One of the guys said, he's like, man, it'd be you guys with big guns walking around, and that wasn't like an everyday, all-day thing. You know, for the most part, it was like what it is right now in the park, which was, you know, kids playing soccer and eating ice cream type thing. Informational opportunities for like conversation corners and whatnot. And Taco, you're still running strong, huh? Looking pretty. But yeah, I mean, do you feel like there was progress made with the CHOP?
I mean, there hasn't been much changed in the city, so
Right.
I think, you know, the protests were great, but somehow our city leaders seem to be able to bob and weave and get out of any accountability. So it's kind of disappointing. See what happens.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not like people have stopped pushing for change. It's just that there hasn't been like the mass attention and like centralized focus like it was then. Yeah. That's good, man. Well, all right. Well, it's good to see you back, man.
Yeah, you too.
Everything good then? Yeah, living that
Yeah.
good life?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, if anybody wants to emulate a life to live, it'd be this cat's. It's got the good stuff going. So Amari's gone now, man. Does it feel lonely?
Yeah, he's down in Pioneer Square, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's got a studio down there.
This was, if you guys remember, Converge Media. They used to operate right out of here, out of the studio here, which is this is your spot altogether, everything. Yeah. And you own all this, right?
No, I just leased this unit.
Oh, okay. It's a great unit. If you guys didn't get a chance to tour inside there at all with me, it's pretty amazing. It's like how you'd want to live if you're living in Seattle. All right, man. We'll catch you later.
All right, see you, man.
Take it easy. How could you not, man? Like I said, living the best life. So that's what the guy was referring to, was how people are, like you said, trying to like play a part. And that guy did kind of get disarmed, and I was like, man, I'm from here, I live here, and I've been here from the jump, you know. And I think part of what he was feeling was kind of that outside influence vibe, where he's like, man, why are you coming in here, and you know. But even then, man, wouldn't you want to have an opportunity? Like, and this is what I feel is really sad about a lot of the protests, is that in that mentality is like, it's very exclusive. Like, no, if you weren't here, we're not going to talk to you. We don't want to have any contact with you. Instead of taking any platform opportunity to say, hey, man, here's what I feel, here's how I think. Maybe I can help get other people around the world, around any, you know, wherever, to understand better where I'm coming from and how I feel about things. But unfortunately, I think people are just so kind of like caught up in that, like, you know, fuck you, you're with me or against me
I
mentality.
think everybody's just rushing everything. That's all it is.
Everybody what?
Everybody's just rushing everything.
What do you mean?
Like, they got a destination they got to go to. Like, they don't have time to stop and wait for a second, stuff like that. I think that's
Yeah.
what it really is.
Could be. I mean, this is Seattle, man. The city is definitely on the run. You know, everybody's like out to go, but
Cheryl Mavis said, CJ, you're supposed to have dog cookies in your pocket.
I do. Why do you think the dogs like me? Yeah.
Let's go check out the field.
Yeah, we are. I'll tell you what, yesterday it was pouring rain. So, check out right around the corner here was where they had the big memorial, which is, you know, graffiti and whatnot has never been a stranger to Seattle, but the, you know, and a lot of like, the papering, like the advertisements and whatnot, but this kind of became a commemorative place for people who passed away. And I'm not. I mean, I don't know. Sadly, I don't know who Sandra Bland is off the top of my head, but yeah, Brandon, you remember that, right? This is all just candles all the way around.
Candles, flowers, everything.
Let's talk to this guy. He's doing some work right now. Maybe don't put him on camera just yet. I don't know if this is all his piece or if he's just accenting someone else's. Huh. I'll let it keep working. He's jamming out. Keeping his tracks up. Oh, no.
Sorry.
It's not mine. I don't think you noticed. I'm not going to say anything if you don't.
There's only a step that was lost.
Yeah, it's not mine. You're good. Just go. What's up, man? How you doing?
Over your coffee, but only a step was lost.
I can't hear you.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I thought you were my friend. Shit, you look just like my friend.
Might as well be.
Yeah.
Might as well, right? You can.
It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, what's up, man? What are you working on?
Absolutely nothing. Just practice hole.
Just what?
Just a practice hole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Damn, you are keeping it. Woo!
Paint, yeah.
That's a lot of paint. You got paint, PBR, and some coffee, man. It's like the Seattle scene right there.
Yeah.
Killing it. Hey, let me ask you, man, were you, so I'm just kind of doing a recap of 1 year ago when we were out here for the Chop, and like, a lot of the controversy right now is over the Chop art, man. Did you get a chance to be involved in making any of the art that was out here?
Yeah.
And do you mind being on camera first off?
No, well, just because like.
It's kind of a
graffiti.
gray area, yeah. So here, just film the wall over time.
Yeah, I don't want, but I know all about the art. I was part of the nonprofit. Like, what do you
Which
wanna-
one? I guess there's controversy. There's two of them. There's a couple that have been going on.
Well,
Like,
there's one's like, shit. I don't want to talk about it. The one Chop Art, I guess, is actually nonprofit.
yeah, the one that's doing the,
Yeah.
in the park right now?
There's factions, split up. So.
which was the Chop, like in a nutshell, basically.
Yeah, totally.
Just a bunch of divided factions.
Yep. So I think it's past. We're on to new things, I guess.
What do you think
Different projects.
about graffiti art? Because a lot of people are like, oh, it's just they're defacing the city, but I think a lot of people haven't really appreciated the fact that there's like the tattoos of the city is kind of how I look at it. It kind of tells a story.
Yeah, it's like the voice of the city.
Yeah.
Especially like the graffiti side of the writings. It's hard. Like you have to. It's a lifetime endeavor. Like you really have to start practicing and relearn to write and understand brush script and calligraphy and then trying to figure out how to, I guess, freeform. Turn it into freeform. So
Yeah, it
it's
works
real
for
hard.
me. I know I couldn't do. I mean, everybody at some point picked up a rattle can and thought that they could spray paint something, and they realized real quick that there's a lot more to making this than just pointing a rattle can at a wall and
Yeah, we get
pushing a button.
Some of us get addicted to it, I think, and then we can't stop.
Well, it's a whole culture, man. You guys are a whole different, vibrant aspect of the art community. That is kind of on the edge, like you said.
Yeah,
You're kind of
kinda
you guys
get
are
off
like
on-
the rogue group
Yeah.
of the rebel artists.
Like it's. Yeah, I think we all get off a little on the no permission thing.
The no permission, yeah. But it's funny because you're a block from a police station. It's like they're gonna come over here and try to stop you. They're probably just like
I'm respectful, so
you're expecting them.
I'm respectful. So
Yeah,
you
right.
can get away with this shit. But
You're not
Yeah.
putting up profanity or you're not cabining it everywhere or anything like that.
yeah. Try to stay off.
Like compost the cops, I think might get you, pulled off the
Yeah.
wall.
One time, that's a good excuse if you ever want to. You say you were covering it up and it said "fuck the police," but you can make eye contact with the cop while you say that.
Just
I actually did it once. Yeah, I was like, no, it said "fuck the police."
yeah, good. Appreciate your work, officer.
Just covering it up for you.
Just covering it up. Right on, man. Well, hey, thanks for talking with us. Appreciate it. It's funny that one guy came by and he knocked over your coffee,
Yeah.
and he was like, you didn't notice, and he was like, oh, what do I do? And I was like, well, pick
Yeah,
it
you
up,
look
man.
Just like my friend.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
Like when you said when he was like, oh, you look like my friend. He's like, we could be. Like he's trying to soften the blow a little bit.
Slightly high too.
Yeah, just a little bit, probably a little bit. Hey man, take it easy. Enjoy your weekend. All right, bud. So a lot of people gave me grief because I talked a lot about graffiti art, and they're like, it's not art, it's not art. But like, I dare anybody who says it's not art to try to do it. It's a full-on another world of complication. It's not easy. But you did used to see a lot of the things that were kind of like telltale for like what was happening in the protests as you were kind of moving through things. You know what I mean? Like you'd see kind of like the gauge of how people were feeling. Man, it's funny, man. I feel bad that like it sucks that people are now like doing what I'm doing right now, but I was like invited out to do what we're doing. But because it's silly that people that weren't out here are trying to talk about what it was like out here. You know what I mean? Just remember people trying to climb up on that building, Brando?
They were on top of it.
Yeah, they were lined up to climb up that fire escape right there. Yeah. Yeah, it was the thing. And then the people on the building up here, if you could see, people didn't realize it, but on top of not this building, but some of the buildings back over here, they had police snipers and stuff like that. So they had, which no one really paid attention to, but you couldn't really see them because obviously, you weren't on top of a building. So I'm gonna grab a hot dog. So, and then we'll go into the park over here. So behind me here is Cal Anderson Park. If you guys remember, that used to be, it was all tents and, yeah. Oh shoot, okay. And this is where they've had a lot of controversial stuff that went down in the park because they had the gardens on the backside, and we'll walk by that as well. Take a look at that. And take a look at some of the other spots that were here. This used to be the conversation corner right here, where people would kind of get together, and they talked a lot about colonialism and, about imperialism and things of that nature. About, what's up, man? You got a real funny look on your face, boy. Let's take a look at some of the comments here, see what's going on. Let me see, where we at? Oh yeah, thank you, Steph. Yeah, if you guys are able to, show some support, much appreciated. The pinned comment there on Facebook, maybe the Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, it helps a lot. Appreciate you guys being a part of the process here. Man, I'm hungry. But yeah, so it'd be good to catch up with Omari too. Like that cat he was a staple down here as well. Omari Salisbury, Converge Media. Like those guys would always be like bubbled out right there. And they used to have these bleachers that were down here. We'd end up like catching up and like kind of recapping the day's events from the night before when everything was going down. That's me. That's my look. But we'll get down here. We'll talk to the guys that are putting on this one. It's interesting because he's talking about what the guy said over here was how there's different factions of like the art committees, and when I wasn't joking, but I was like, man, that basically sums up the CHOP entirely. And he's like, yeah, because that's what happened with the CHOP. Is like it turned into this like divided, like all these multiple factions of different people that were like vying for control of the CHOP. So. That's a tough one because without your ID, you can't do much out here, right?
Man, I could have got a cell phone today. I could have got 4 or 5 different good things to help me out, but my ID was expired. They wouldn't do it.
What do you do in those situations?
It's tough. I've been wanting to get an ID, but when this COVID came down, they closed down.
Right.
So they open back up now, and I had the little money then, but man, I needed it because I'm going through hard time.
Yeah.
I got diabetes, I got no arm, I got no eye, and I'm about to lose my legs. I'm going through hard time.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Yeah, it's hard.
Facebook Live videos.
What's up? What's up? Why not? Talk about life, man. But I don't know. Do you know him? You know him?
I just met him yesterday. He told me. He was gonna give me some money.
Oh, that was nice of him. So he did.
Yeah, he gave me $10.
Well, man, hey, best of luck to you, man. I hope everything works out.
Okay.
All right. Cool. I was just waiting in line to get a hot dog, man. What's up? Is that an issue?
Did he not make you a hot dog?
I don't care. I want to get a hot dog now, man. We're going to go down here and get a hot dog for these cats. Give it to them.
People are saying they want to start a GoFundMe for that guy.
For real. That's what these people don't get, man. Everyone assumes that they're doing what they should do and no one else is doing it right. You know
Mark
what I mean?
Anthony keeps calling you and pauses the stream.
Yeah, I know. We're going to bob down here and talk to him right now.
Okay. He's saying to call him.
Oh, all right.
He just texted. He said, call me at a different number.
Yeah, I'll call him on this number real quick. I don't know if they got someone on stage right now or not, but if they do, we'll be able to talk to them. But if they're just playing like recorded music, we're not gonna be able to like kick it because
It's kind of nice just resting your hand right there.
yeah, no, that's why I was chilling on this thing right here. That kind of stuff gets me, man. Is everyone like, that's so frustrating because they don't know, you know what I mean? And then you try to talk to them and they're like, oh man, we're good. I'm like, no, we're not, man. You already started talking about something. Why don't you go and talk about it? Like, be a part of the dialogue that you started. Why are you talking to him? Don't intro with that question, man. Like, why are you talking to him? Why would you not talk to him?
He said to call him at a different number, like he texted. He texted a number.
All right. Hey, Mark, if you're watching right now, man, you got to... What?
Oh yeah, see, it's a rat.
What?
That's a rat.
That's a big-ass mouse if it's not a... That's a dog, man. What are you talking about?
Oh, that is a rat.
1 second. Let me check real quick. We'll take a look at some music playing right now. So I think they got... It's hella loud, too, so I don't know how much we'll be able to, like, record over here. It's a little ratatouille. I'll probably get better feedback from him than I have from most of the people right here right now. That dude's actually from these streets. There's Chris right there. You guys remember, like, this spot right here was where we had some standoffs with, like, the preacher guy who actually was just over here earlier. The dude who's kind of like, you know, I've seen that cat get beat up, pepper sprayed. I see him down there. Actually,
You see him?
yeah, he's right there. All right. We'll say hi to Chris on the way. Yeah, I'll be back for one in a minute, yeah. What's up, man? How you been? You good? All right.
With his hands up. What type of man would I be if I stand up? Government lying and police can't stand up. Server protect me, the thoughts in them handcuffs. I swear I had enough. The Justice Department, because my black man in a hoodie, I'm a target. The legal system within itself is retarded. The American dream is an image that's started. Laws change every day to keep us down. And I'm just being honest, don't be blind to the fact that they let us on track. Tell us anything, so our money is that we a war against terror. Where the terrorists at? Do you see it?
Oh my God.
Do you hear it?
That is hella loud. I don't think everybody can hear me right now.
We a war against terror. Where the terrorists at? Do you hear it? Nah. Let's go, let's go.
We're going on a field trip. You want to come with?
Yeah. And then I'm going to run out. I'm going to come with, and then I'm going to run out.
Staying right here. Man. That's crazy, man. I was talking to some cats, man. People are being hella hostile up the block, man.
I know they're hella mad at me for this.
Well, not even just that. Like, just even talking to folks. I was like, hey, what's up? They're like, man, guy was like, fuck you, man, get out of here. And I was like,
what?
Because
you're recording this event?
No, just because they thought that, like, they're exploiting. Like, they're like, people are coming here trying to make money on us. Like, Capitol Hill, like, you know, basically, like, doing tours of what was the Chop. And I was like, man, I guarantee I was here 10 times more than you were. No, some kid on a razor scooter was just, people were just being like, when I was trying to ask him questions, man. But hey, so, getting here, tell everybody who y'all are real quick and what we're doing here.
I'm Tracy Kendrick, and I'm Vice President of Chop Art.
Okay.
I'm Mark Anthony, and I'm the president of the Chop Art nonprofit.
Now, what's the Chop Art nonprofit all about?
We're a nonprofit that's focused on providing a platform for artists from underprivileged and underrepresented communities.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. Fuck the police.
And that's Chris. That's big. That's Big C right there. That's Big
right
C.
there.
Showed up. So what's going on? So we've got, you know, we're looking to bring about some awareness of what was going on a year ago right out here. Like, yeah, yes sir. How much has changed in the last year? What do we think?
As far as policing, is that what you
Yeah, like for the original notion of what we're trying to be accomplished through the Chop here in Seattle, we'll say.
Not enough. They've made some small changes, but honestly, what we wanted was systemic change. What we wanted was revolutionary change. It was like supposed to be a renaissance.
Yeah.
And so SPD has made some steps to try to improve their system of policing, but what we're trying to let them know is that your system of policing doesn't work.
Right.
There are better alternatives.
Are they opening like channels of dialogue? Are they more open and receptive now since the Occupy protest?
Well, I'd say that, yeah, I would actually definitely say so, because prior to Chop, I remember us coming down here and asking them to come and give us hugs and handshakes and say Black Lives Matter, take a knee with us, throw a fist up in support with us. And they told us they couldn't do any of that, that basically all of that would be political statements.
Yeah.
We told them there's nothing political about saying Black Lives Matter. There's nothing political about saying equality for all.
Sure.
And now it seems like they are a lot more receptive to it, although coming from different channels than I expected.
Right.
You know, a lot of people knew that, you know, the police would be something that would be tough to change at a level, but honestly, I've met a lot of officers who are willing to have that dialogue.
Yeah.
The thing that seems more surprising to me is that it seems like I'm getting most of the pushback from specifically the mayor's office when it comes to, you know, what I'm trying to do here.
Really? So it's taking a step further than the police, like.
Yeah, the police honestly wanted to be involved in this event. I've been speaking with them for weeks about coming out here to have some type of community discussion about how to reinvent policing.
Sure.
I've been speaking to a number of captains that have told me that they are in support of this event, whether I have a permit or not, and they'll work to make sure that it's a safe event.
Nice.
You know, honestly, like, I've definitely had my troubles with police in the past, but as far as this event's gone, police have been in support of it.
Nice.
It's been the mayor's office that has, like, seemingly put a complete hold on everything, which is particularly a surprise to me because when they first started talking about this event and when we first reached out, or when they first reached out to us about this event, because they reached out to us first, it was their idea for us, the Chop Art nonprofit, to bring arts to the parks, to promote diversity and inclusion. So it just seemed kind of funny to me that 2.5 weeks before the event, we would get a letter saying that our permit was denied on the basis that we may have violent groups here or community concern or anything like that. If that was the case, why would you reach out to the president of the Chop Art nonprofit if you didn't want to use the word chop or fund anything in relation to the word
Were they afraid that it would be like, that this is like a staging ground for like another like Western barricade? Do they think that that's kind of what was going to happen here?
I don't know. Maybe, because that's the way I seem to get treated all across the country. I mean, in D.C., I had a helicopter on me for no reason and 50 cops around me. And all we did there was play music and let people speak on a microphone.
How dare you, sir?
Yeah, how dare I?
Yeah.
And so now they're acting like I'm out here being a terrorist when I don't see me doing anything wrong, other than doing what I said I would do in the application, which is provide arts to the park through music, through speakers, through paintings, and through culinary arts.
You have noticed the gigantic man standing to your left, right? He's an intimidating force. I can see why they might be nervous.
Chris ain't there all the time.
I had 2 hamburgers. I'm ready to go to sleep.
No, they shouldn't have nothing to worry about, Chris. Chris ain't out here doing nothing illegal.
You know,
They
Chris
gotta be scared of.
Chris has been a loud voice, actually, which I've come to love and respect. Whether or not everyone agrees with what you have to say, you haven't changed your tune from the second that I met you.
I ain't gonna change.
Yeah.
He's exercising his freedom of speech.
I think that's important.
Hey, you asked him about the police. Are these dudes really? Are they play fighting? You asked him about the police. What Diaz has done is he's took all the black officers off the south end of Seattle at night. They only come out in the daytime.
South end?
On the south end of Seattle,
Yeah.
it's all white officers at night.
Okay.
That's kind of suspicious.
Yeah.
May 24th, I had a black officer, didn't like my mask. He spit on me. Okay?
Damn.
Called me a bitch ass nigga, told me he was gonna whoop my ass. He spit on me on the 14th. Sunday, I started getting sick. Monday, I got sicker. Tuesday morning at 3 o'clock in the morning, I went to the hospital, got a COVID test, and tested positive for COVID. They figuring out another way to kill black folks. We'll spit COVID on their ass.
I would hope they didn't have a cop operative that was just, they infected him and they're like, now go get him. But
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm a single father. My daughter's on her computer at home from 9 in the morning until 3:45. Then she go outside and play.
Right.
So I can't go nowhere. I took her to her taekwondo lesson that Friday. We hadn't been around nobody else but me and her.
Right.
A motherfucking police spits on me.
I think honestly,
and then I test positive for COVID.
I mean, the COVID is almost secondary to the major offense of having another human being spit on you.
It's just an added assault when you're spitting on somebody during a well-known pandemic.
Right,
You
but I
shouldn't
mean,
even be spitting on people, but you're doing it during a pandemic on top of that when you know you're putting yourself at risk.
Prosecutor's office every day. I call them every day, Monday through Friday. I'm gonna end that motherfucker's career.
Has anything
But
come
see,
of that?
that's one of them new officers that Diaz vetted. He vetted them real good. I think he slipped on that one.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you
And
see a change in the
this
police
was a
force now,
black
Chris?
officer. And that's why I told y'all, the black officers are just as bad as the white officers. There's no difference. They're just as bad.
Okay.
Just as bad.
I gotta ask you now, like, because
I ain't never had no white officer spit on me. I done had my ass whooped a bunch of times.
Yeah.
They ain't never spit on me.
Do you see a change in the police force at all?
No.
Do you think that as we move forward and we start getting younger, like people of color in the police force, that might elicit some change, and we're gonna start seeing like a change of the old guard, maybe?
Well, we've had people of color in the police force for a number of years. I haven't seen a large change.
Yeah.
As far as younger officers coming in, the important thing is to focus on education, because if these young officers are going off of the same lack of knowledge about African Americans and historical injustices,
Sure.
they'll be operating the same way. We need to make sure to educate these kids at a young age on real American history, on how people are differentiated, segregated, however you want to say it, treated differently.
But wait a minute. Find a black man or a black woman that will trust the system long enough to see if it works. You see what I'm saying? We've been fucked over so long.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? A good officer comes, we don't see no good officers. We done seen so many bad ones. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how you tell if he's good or not? You see what I'm saying?
I hear you.
And I don't see black people giving them a chance. I mean, it's gone on for too long. This shit's all the way in the court systems, man. When I was protesting, I was up on gun and weapons charges. Except for a goddamn prosecutor read the fucking police report and figured that shit out.
Okay.
So they dropped that shit. But they had wrote a police report to send me to the penitentiary.
Right.
I got the police report at home. My lawyer gave it to me. I read it myself.
Right.
During a drug investigation, narcotics officers with binoculars looked through my front windshield. I had a sack of dope in one hand and a fistful of money in the other. They were out there looking for people selling drugs. That's what they were doing that day.
You said you had a fistful of dope and money?
A sack of dope. They said I had a sack of dope.
Oh, they said that. I thought you were saying you did have one. I'm like, well, they found you.
Said.
I mean, if they were looking.
If they were looking and you seen this,
Okay.
Why in the fuck you didn't come and arrest me?
Right.
That's what your sergeant sent you to do that day.
Right.
You go find people that are selling drugs.
Yeah.
So you got your binoculars.
Yeah.
And you looked through my windshield.
Yep.
In my car.
Yep.
And I was sitting there with a sack of dope in one hand and a fistful of money in the other.
Yep.
You didn't come and arrest me.
To be clear, one more time, he didn't have said sack of dope and money.
No.
He's saying if he did have that, why
That's
wouldn't they have
what
arrested
said.
him? Right.
But if you are out here, this is what your job is today.
Right.
Okay? If my job today is to whoop ass, I'm gonna start whooping asses. Okay?
Just start over there if you do, Chris. Just start over there.
They were supposed to be looking for people selling drugs to take to jail.
Sure.
So they look at me through their binoculars.
Yeah.
And they say that guy has a sack of dope in one hand and a fistful of money in the other.
Yeah.
First of all, only time I've been in downtown Seattle is when I was protesting. Other than that, I don't even go in downtown. There's nothing there. They said I was sitting on Second and Yes, sir, in my car.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Shit, the only time I've been down there was protesting because there's nothing in downtown. There's nothing there.
Let me ask you both then, real quick. Then, since we talked about the things that have been wrong with the system, what needs to change? Like, what's the next step to make the change to get what it is that both of you feel need to happen?
Accountability is the key thing we need to change. We're not saying that all officers need to be perfect. We're saying that when officers don't do their job the way that it should be done, they need to be held accountable.
Sure.
We expect that bad officers will slip through the cracks, but they shouldn't get a paid vacation and return to the force or return to another force in another city.
So getting rid of that qualified immunity.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, this is going to be something that I haven't heard anybody say before, but I'd like to see body cameras turned on from the moment you clock into work to the moment you clock off.
I don't know why they're not.
I don't know why they're not either. That should be from the moment you clock in with your badge and uniform on, you should be being recorded all your actions, because we see that a lot of officers abuse their power.
Right. I mean, if you strap a gun to your hip, I just think, honestly, no matter if you're pro-police or anti-police, whatever it is, its best interest would say, hey, let's make sure that the accountability's there, that a higher level of accountability and standards are going to be kept, knowing that there's going to be monitoring at all times.
Yeah, and we're never going to make it perfect. There will always there's bad people in every career, police included.
Absolutely.
But that's a career that we can't have bad officers in. So we need to make sure that if you are identified as a bad officer and we have evidence to prove it, and we need to make sure we can collect that evidence so that we can prove it and get you off the force.
Sure. What about you, Chris? What do you think?
Police accountability told me last week. I told them, I said, I have the clothes that he spit on when he spit on me in a bag folded up. I said, why don't I bring them to you and you guys do a DNA test? His DNA is on them. They said that's too expensive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't got no police accountability. They don't give a fuck either. They don't give a fuck either.
Do they identify you, Chris? Do you feel like you're profiled because of like your past? They look at that and they say immediately, like,
he didn't
there's
like
no
my
change.
mask.
Oh, okay.
I wear this mask.
Oh, you didn't like your mask? I thought you said you didn't like my past.
No,
okay.
he didn't like my mask. I wear this mask everywhere I go. This is freedom of speech.
It is.
And this is freedom of expression. This is how I express my discontent for him.
Okay.
Okay. Mark's different than me. The
I don't wear
police
the
ain't
mask,
gonna
but they heard
change,
me say
man.
He said
They have proven to me
Yeah.
that they're not gonna change. After Chauvin got found guilty, them motherfuckers went on a killing spree. They killed about 6 people.
Where at? In Minneapolis? Or
Minneapolis, all over this country, man. It's like they went on a killing spree. It ain't gonna change, man. It's not gonna change.
Do you feel that was retaliatory because of the verdict, guilty verdicts with Jack
That was their way of saying is we'll still kill you niggas. We'll still kill you. We're not gonna stop.
Honestly, I don't know why people were celebrating about the fact that he got convicted. That was obvious. The whole world saw he was going to be convicted.
Yeah, I mean,
want to know what his sentence is. If he gets convicted and only sentenced to 3 years, that's nothing to celebrate. If he gets sentenced to 6 years or 10 years, that's nothing to celebrate.
Right. I think that's what people have forgotten, or maybe they feel like it's a step in that direction, but that's going to be the real test because.
I'm gonna tell you what they don't give him.
Chris, what's that?
Remember I told you this. They're gonna give him 20 years.
Collectively for everything?
They're gonna give him, yeah. They're gonna run all that shit concurrent.
Yeah.
They're gonna give him a bunch of sentences, but it's gonna come out to 20 years. They're gonna run it concurrent. Because the major one he's looking at is 14.
Right.
And in Washington, they call it mitigating circumstances.
Right.
They call it depraved measures or whatever, depraved some shit.
Sure.
They're gonna give him another 6 for that.
Okay.
Not only that, there were so many other reasons that were worse than the ones the judge picked. The judge picked the 9-year-old girl watched, okay? He picked, can't think of the other one, but a better one was you held your knee on that man's neck till 4.5 minutes after he was dead. See, that's worse than that 9-year-old watching. That's worse. See, he picked the lightest ones, but there was about 6. The fact that he kept his knee on his neck for 4.5 minutes. The fact that a medic came up and said, hey, can I administer aid? The fact that when the medics got there, they had to tap him on his shoulder. The fact that he had held his knee on that man's neck for 4.5 minutes after he was dead. The 9-year-old girl that was there. And he had his hand in his pocket. And see, what happened was that ignorant motherfucker's ego kicked in. That's why he's in his situation.
I definitely agree the ego was involved. I think what they found was that he was wearing a black glove and it looked like his hand was in his pocket.
That hand was in his pocket.
Resting on his leg.
His pocket just like this. We all saw that. Yeah.
And every time you look at that tape, every time George Floyd moved, he pressed down more with his knee.
Yeah, there's no excuse. He tortured a man on video for 9 minutes while he's begging for his life, begging for his mother. There's nothing else we need to talk about. Like,
that was hard to watch.
It was obvious that he's guilty. I want to make sure he gets sentenced to what he should deserve. And in my opinion, even 20 years isn't enough.
Sure.
But you know what will stop it? And I've said this and I'll say it on camera. When black folks pick up their guns and start going after the police. When we start going after them. When they take one of us, we should take 10 of them. I bet you it'll change them. They think they're untouchable. You know what I'm saying? They think they fucking untouchable.
Yeah, that's
I told them. They kill one of my family members, I'm going to get 10 of them motherfuckers. I'm going to get me 10 of them. And it don't matter whether they white, black, Chinese, it don't matter. It don't matter.
Man.
They're gonna play with the wrong person.
Man, look.
It sounds like a perpetuation of death, though.
Them motherfuckers, they beat up me and my 5 older brothers. And then, like I said, in 2010, they had the nerve to beat up my son. They've been through generations of my family. Nah, I ain't taking it no more. See, that's why you say I'm so outspoken. I'm not scared of them anymore. I spent my whole life scared of them motherfuckers.
Right.
I ain't scared of them motherfuckers no more. They can only kill me once. You can only kill me once.
But they can make you suffer for a long time.
Yeah, well, hey, I don't know. I done went back to Militant Chris.
Yeah, like I said, you may not agree with everything he says, guys. I know a lot of you don't. But he hasn't changed his tune since I met him.
He's got a deeper experience than most of you that are commenting on what he's talking about. You guys haven't experienced what he has.
That's what a lot of people need to appreciate is that your life and your life are not my life.
And vice versa. And they didn't have them experiences. They didn't have them experiences. They came in this movement to get money. There's a time to hustle and there's a time not to hustle. It was no time for a hustle. It was no time. And like I told her.
The Bible says it's time to reap and it's time to sow, right?
Like I told them, they gonna get even. And that's what they've been doing.
Man.
That's what they've been doing.
That's a scary thought, especially if people come out with that thought process that 1 for 10 or 10 for 1 is, you know.
I mean, what? Yeah. How long are we supposed to stand by and take this? See, what a lot of people don't know about me is that all these years I've watched unarmed blacks killed, that shit hurted. That shit hurted. Because I couldn't do a goddamn thing about it.
Right.
And I figured nobody cared. But there's a whole bunch of white folks that give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? But they came into this movement and they got exploited.
They sure did.
They got exploited.
They had people at
and they got exploited by black people. And these motherfuckers out here fighting for your black ass.
We had these groups coming in the CHOP talking about we don't trust white people, we don't need white people, we don't want white people. I explained to those groups, 90% of the people that are working in these booths, working in medics, working in security, donating their time and their money free of charge, not asking for anything in return, they're white. We live here in Seattle. This is a majority white city.
It is.
Most of the people that are out there protesting when we were marching in the streets were white.
Right.
So why these groups will come here and try to tear down those white people, say things like white bodies to the front, that sounds dehumanizing.
Absolutely.
I have people coming to me during CHOP saying, I can't believe they're saying these things. Can you please handle them? Can you please talk to them? I went up and talked to these groups, and they didn't want to change.
Right.
Because they came there to destroy what we had built and try to basically create something of their own off of what we started.
Yeah. We saw some of that firsthand. I mean, not more than a year ago, a week from today, right here in this park.
Yeah. Oh, on Juneteenth.
Juneteenth.
One of the ugliest days I've ever seen in my life.
Tell us about that. Tell us about that.
Oh my God, it was awful. Juneteenth 2020 was honestly one of the most ugly days I've ever seen. I got awoken at, I believe, 8:30 in the morning. Mind you, I usually left CHOP between 5 and 6 in the morning. My friend AJ, who was a white man that had been sitting here on Cal Anderson, cooking for people every day free of charge, giving them free food every single day. He was well known in the CHOP community. He called me at 8:30 in the morning and said, bro, I just woke up to somebody knocking on my tent and telling me that today this is going to be a black-only space, no white people allowed. I told AJ I'm on my way.
Yeah.
I got here 30 minutes later. They had signs all up around the park talking about this is a black-only space, no white people allowed here. I came here, I turned down all those signs. As I'm walking up to the first sign, I see two white women following a white man while he's walking his dog. They're following him saying, sir, you're not allowed to be in this park right now. He turns around and says, I live across the street, I walk my dog here every day, and you can't tell me if I can or cannot be in this park. I walked up and I explained to them, I explained to those two young women what segregation and discrimination are, and that they are perpetuating it by telling this man that based on his skin color, he's not allowed to be in the park.
Right.
To top it off, the man's wearing a Bernie Sanders t-shirt.
Right.
So I tell them, leave him alone. He's fine to walk through. I apologize to the man, and they went their separate ways.
Right.
So then I look around the park, and they have at every entrance a booth set up, and they are literally telling white people that they are not allowed inside the park.
This park right here.
This park right here, Cal Anderson.
Yeah.
Where CHOP was. They're telling white people all Juneteenth, or trying to do it all Juneteenth, that white people would not be allowed inside the park. So I walked over, I explained to each one of these groups what segregation and discrimination are, and that I don't support that no matter what race is being segregated or discriminated against.
Right.
Basically, they said that they wanted to have a black healing space so that they could heal from the trauma of our ancestors, which I don't understand because our ancestors had that trauma, not you.
So
you might have some
was
trauma.
To replace segregation in order to heal from the trauma of segregation?
Yes. They were trying to use segregation and discrimination to heal from segregation and discrimination. So I said, you know what, okay. I understand you guys have your trauma that you guys need to get through your mental health trauma, whatever. I'll give you guys your own space.
Right.
Let you guys have your own space. So they took everybody from around the perimeter of the park that they had at their booths and their sections, and they followed this yellow line all the way around the park and just had the yellow line filled with white people. And they were denying they were denying other white people entrance into that white line so that they could have a black-only space.
And you're saying this is white individuals that were setting up booths saying white people weren't allowed?
Yes.
Because they were providing a space for black people to heal. So they were
literally-
doing that for you.
So literally,
That's
you could
such
look
a nice
down a
service
line.
for them to offer without the consent of anyone asking for it.
You could literally look down a line, and you would see left on one side and right on the other. And Tracy here, our vice president, has a picture of it.
We need some help. I need you right now, so we're gonna have to y'all have to cut this short right now. Y'all gonna have to check out later because we got people that need us.
Hey, you're needed everywhere. Do your thing.
Yeah.
We'll catch up with you in a little
We'll
bit.
catch up with you though, CJ.
Absolutely, Tracy. I'm here for you. Absolutely. Got you.
So who do you guys?
Hey, what's up, little one? How are you?
Who's your media for?
This is me. This is still my independent CJTV. Yeah. These are my cousins. This is Brandon, the guy who was originally the first person I ever came in to CHOP with. He held camera for me, and this is his younger brother, JP.
Scrawny guy.
Yeah, he's my human shield.
Yeah.
In case things go sideways, I hide behind him. Now that you're here, you're my human shield, Chris.
I'll tell you, man. I'm gonna tell you like I tell everybody else. Within 30 days of today, they'll kill another black person. Every time I tell somebody that, it happens.
Well, stop saying it.
But it's what happens. It's what happens, man.
I mean, you don't feel like maybe that statistically it's going to happen regardless because.
You remember the kid that got killed over here?
I can't remember. I know they had Pockets up here, and then they had Alonzo, was it? Or Alonzo, yeah.
Yeah, his father got shot yesterday.
So it was his father that was shot. So if you guys don't remember, over here there's a memorial for a young man named Alonzo who was killed, and I guess his father was just shot yesterday as well.
His brother died.
His father's
brother both got shot, but the brother died, and last night the father was in critical condition, hoping he pulls through.
And that's still just gang beef that's still going on up here, right?
That's the thing is we need to figure out a way for these youngsters to stop killing each other.
I think it comes down to role models. We need more peers that more role models and like on the level that can say, hey, listen, like I'm gonna teach you a better way, show you a better way.
Man, when I was a kid, we didn't pull no pistols out if there was kids present.
Right.
These motherfuckers are pulling guns when kids are present.
Yeah, they are kids.
It used to be in this town.
Yeah.
If you pull out a pistol when there was a child, your homeboys got your ass.
Right.
They got you.
Right.
Now.
Well, how old was Pockets? Pockets was 15, 14 years old?
Yeah, that was my girl's cousin, the one that got shot in the head twice that lived.
And the Jeep situation, yeah.
Yeah. He's doing all right, but he ain't the same person.
Right.
But then most people die from one bullet in the head. He took two and he's still alive.
Right.
So he's alive.
Did they ever catch people who did that? No.
They actually took Rick's guns. Remember Rick?
Two-clip Rick?
Yeah, they took his guns and did ballistics on his guns.
Oh, really?
And then gave them back to him. Yeah.
As a character, Two-clip Rick.
I'm getting ready to go back over here. Man.
Do that.
It was good to see you, man.
Real good to see you too, man. We'll talk to y'all. Come by and grab a hot dog. All right. So yeah, like I said, that's Chris, man. Big Chris has been out here. Like I've seen him in basically most every protest that I've been at here in Seattle, and even in Tacoma. And like I said, you may not agree with what he says, and I'm not saying that I do either. But like, the guy hasn't changed his tune, and I know his backstory. He's really kind of relayed to me a lot of his history of what he's gone through, and so the way he feels is coming from deep-rooted situations that aren't just like off the top of his head feelings. You know, these are coming from a place of like not just himself, but his whole family has dealt with issues with the police. And you know, I'll leave it to you guys to kind of formulate your own thoughts and opinions on that. But we're gonna walk over here real quick and take a look at where the gardens were, and we'll come back through this way. But yeah, it's wild. If you guys don't remember, like when the sweep came through, like they marched right through here and they went all the way up through the park and just pushed everybody out. But like, what was terrible about that? It just came to mind. What was sad about that? Come on, keep up. Was you gotta keep up, bro. Maybe even walk backwards if you want to or something. Or there you go, whatever. Don't step on this guy. He will beat you up. I know that because he looked angry already. But when they came through and swept through, there was already like, this has always been a place where there's had a homeless population, but when they came through and swept everybody out from the CHOP, they pushed all of the people that were already living here out as well. So there's been a lot of things that have happened that have been hard to see and hard to watch, but here, we'll cut around here. If you guys remember, they had like all these tents set up here, and it was kind of like the Riot Kitchen was right here. And that's where they were like doing food service. I felt like you were doing relay me. I was gonna trap you back, just like that. We could have got you. But this was all the Riot Kitchen through here. So some of the stuff is still here. Some of the original like graffiti art. The Breonna Taylor one was here. That one on the building over there used to be pretty cool too. They had some that were on that one. Yeah, you remember that one? You remember all this over here? Remember people were like really nervous, like don't go into the gardens at night because that's where bad things happen. But I'm surprised actually that these are as here as they are, you know?
When I was in Wisconsin, like we were in Green Bay, just their main city, I guess, and They had ping pong tables out. They had shuffleboarding out. They had like a bunch of different like games. They had like beanbag toss and stuff. And they have just the paddles and balls just sitting right next to the tables. They just leave them out there and people play and they'll put them back.
That's how it was in California. They have all these volleyball courts set up and they just leave volleyballs on the beach for people to play.
Like, they even had foosball out there. Like, they just leave all the stuff out and then pick it up at nighttime.
Well, you got people that they come out every day and do that. You know, they're trying to draw people out into the community and whatnot. But
you're at 20%.
Okay, yeah, I got a battery backup in here. Look at that.
You all done? Ain't no chop lost and found, is there?
I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to give it to a friend of mine.
Come for it?
Come yeah, Brandon, it's playing.
Yeah, it's
all right, let's Rochambeau.
Huh? 2 out of 3 on shoot?
Whatever. Well,
just straight up, just one game.
Just one for it all.
Okay, on shoot. You ready?
All right. One, 2, 3, shoot. 1, 2, 3, shoot. Ah, winner. I was really nervous there, actually. Like I was starting to sweat.
Didn't even get a chance to.
We just punked him out of it. No, that's mine. So this was like the. This was like originally like there was tents all through here, but this is like one of the main spaces that they had these gardens set up. But it's cool to see that they still have them here. Like they built a bunch of these above ground gardens, and they had up in the top of Cal Anderson up there, they had a bunch of other stuff that was going down.
Are you sure somebody didn't actually just leave it there next to that sign? Because I'm looking around, there's quite a bit of stuff. I don't know.
They making me feel weird about it.
I know.
Now I got to put it back now. Jeez.
Are you?
It's a little, yeah, it's a little trinket here, man.
What if somebody just dropped it?
See, you got to stop that. All right, now I'm putting it in my pocket and walking away.
Oh, dang, I was so close.
Man, then Brandon screwed it up for you.
Yeah, why'd you say that?
Brandon messed it up for you.
Wants it actually.
It's going to be a gift. The nice part is we're all thinking about it going to someone else, which is nice. But
so how late we hanging out here tonight?
I don't know. Let's kind of walk around a little bit longer. In the comments, anybody is there anything that anyone's curious about? Anything that people want to see?
People are wondering if there's an event here tonight. A lot of people are saying graffiti is not art, it's vandalism.
I mean, yeah, if it's done on a building or in a situation where it shouldn't be.
Tell people to ask questions now that you got time. Tell them to put comments.
Yeah. Give me your comments, y'all. Putting a new bill together to try to separate white children. Graffiti's not art, it's vandalism. I see that. Yeah, I'm just looking at comments over on. Let's go, boss. How you doing, bro?
How do you even know me?
You look familiar, man. What's up?
Bro, how you doing, bro?
Good, man. Good.
Good.
What's going down?
Not much, man.
Was this a mirrorless right here? Your Sony A7?
This is my Cadillac cameras.
Dude, I just got one. It's an A5.
Well, this is the A7 III, but
that's a sexy camera.
It's too much. It's too much for me, bro.
Too much?
It's got 25 menus.
Oh, jeez.
You want to change something? You're like, you guys can trade, right?
Yeah, this one's a dumbed down version. If you want to know. How's it going, man? What brought you out?
Well, I wanted to come to this. I wanted to get footage of the Mark Antony event.
Yeah. Have you checked out the other one yet?
No, I haven't been to the other one at all. I'm impartial to the events and everything.
Yeah, Mark Anthony's a friend of mine, and so he invited me out to check it out. And what's interesting is all the different how there's been all these different conflicting viewpoints about how to celebrate a 1 year, which I think is interesting because it should be overall just do it how you want to do it. No one's going to be doing it right or wrong. But.
It's cool that they're trying to do a 1 year event. I just think that there needed to be maybe one thought out event instead of other people doing what they want to do.
Well, that was the issue with the CHOP entirely, was that there were so many different factions of people that felt like they had the best solution for how things should be done that things didn't get done. So
I tell people all the time, everyone then they argue about who they don't get along with. I'm like, you do remember you were marching with 2,000 people you didn't even know. You were marching with people who could have been murderers, and you were like, yeah, brother.
Strong point, man. Strong point.
And then later, when people start identifying themselves, then they're like, oh, wait a minute, this guy's this and that. It's you didn't care when we were 8,000 people strong in the streets or whatever.
Well, I saw it firsthand change on me. You know, like I was out every day covering marches, out here every day, like interviewing, and then like slowly it turned into this like, no, you're with us or against us. You have to be part of this group or that group, and if you don't say the right thing at the right time, then it's just like it turned into a real hand-picked situation as to who was going to be part of the in crew. You know?
Yeah.
Just too bad, man, because you would hope that you go to more places. Other places I've been around the nation so far have been so much more inclusive. You know, they've just been, you know, very much open to the idea that people can come in and, you know, offer something up, whether or not you're from the area or, you know, an active part of whatever they happen to be doing. So
I was going through all my old footage yesterday.
Don't drip on your camera.
Huh?
You're dripping on your camera.
It actually, I had to pull the end off because it got screwed up. It's not actually going to leak. I watched some of the old live streams from like Minnesota and like, and some of the other ones too, like Oregon.
Yeah.
Like the highlight reels are like when you guys are pinned under the fence.
Yeah.
In Portland, and like the fence, like here's you and here's the fence, like all the way over the top. And you're like got the microphone like under the fence.
Yeah, in a gas mask and tear gas and like.
And
that's
then
right.
And then Minnesota, I'm watching, I'm like glued to the screen. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. And then I left for like 1 minute. 1 minute. I go to the bathroom, I come back, and I switch over, and it's you going, oh my God, a bunch of people just got shot everywhere.
Yeah.
And like I had to like go back and like try to like figure out what I was watching, because for like 10 minutes, like I thought there was actually like a mass like the Civil War had started, because all I saw in your footage was like people dropping like this, like as you pan the camera. And so when I turned the stream back on again, I thought it was like literally like 20 shooters.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, like the worst thing we could have ever possibly imagined has happened. It's like the Proud Boys have started shooting.
Or something. That's legit. That's exactly what I thought when I said that, because, I mean, you kept hearing gunshots and bodies were just hitting the ground. And, I mean, I just saw 2 people get shot, like, you know, fatally and then, you know, almost fatally. So it was, that was definitely a heart stopper. And all I did was this when it happened. Because that's all you can do. You know, when an AR-15 is going off around you, you just make a stupid face and hope it doesn't hit you.
So what is your takeaway now that like you've had a whole like year, like a whole full year?
Yeah.
You're looking back, you're no longer this new bro streamer out there. You're not looking around like, oh my God, what's happening? Like, you know what's happening. Yeah. You've seen it on the ground level. Like you've gone all around the country, and now you're back here in Seattle again. Like, what do you think is like the takeaway for the people who are like sitting in their houses and they're looking at this like, these guys are protesters, these guys are Antifa, they need to get jobs, they need to learn how to work. Like, when those people have that attitude and you've been on the ground level and you've seen it, like, like what is your statement back to that?
I say we need to stop generalizing and appreciate that anytime you see something like a grouping of people that are raising their voice, stop your judgment and just listen to them for a minute and appreciate that a lot of the things that are being brought to the attention on the forefront of the light of the society right now is being done through protest. And so many people are just looking at them through a generalized scope of Antifa, which is, and the thing is, I understand both sides. I get why they see that, because you've got Black Bloc, you've got Antifa, you got Black Bloc Antifa, you had BLM, Black Bloc Antifa, and so anytime there was a protest, everything became the same generalized group of people.
Yeah.
But what people stopped realizing was that there's still issues and there's still problems, and people are out there. I had to have a kid. You know, I had a heart-to-heart with a young man in Sacramento who's part of Bloc, not more than a couple months ago. Actually, Brandon was there when we had this conversation. And it reminded me of what it was all about, because I had started getting away from that. I started finding myself being really hesitant to even go around the protests and feeling really standoffish with that community. Yeah. A lot of it was the way I was getting treated, because they became very exclusive. You know what I mean? They assumed that, you know, I was some kind of, you know, anti-plant streamer that was out to dox or whatever. And they had forgotten that, like, I've been here from day one, you know, like from day one. And but we had a conversation. One of the things that this young man reminded me of is that, like, there's people that are going to put themselves on the line, and whether we agree with the tactics, like, we don't have to, right? We can accept that, like, what they do may not be what we agree with on our own ethics and moral and our compass, but whatever that might be. But listen to what they're saying, you know, and maybe you might hear something that could open you up to looking at possibly, being a part of a change.
But beyond defunding the police
Sure.
and all cops are bad, like what are the people in Portland saying, like that the actual people living out in the country need to hear?
What is like the protest community in Portland saying?
Yeah, what are they saying besides the superficial things, like the defunding and the all cops are bad? Like, what is the message that the people out in the country living on their own land, like, what do they need to take away from that?
That's a great question. I wish that the people in Portland, I wish that Seattle, the Northwest protest community was a bit more open-mouthed about what they want to see, because it started off with a list of demands, right? But if we look back at what the generalized idea is to stop putting a lot of blind faith in the things that are being fed to us. And I think that's, honestly, and the only way I can give it is a very overarching statement. Steer clear of mainstream media and the narratives that are being fed through that. And appreciate that, like, the situations that are happening aren't just in Portland or in Seattle, It's a nationwide situation, and it's affecting all of us, so.
Because isn't the "don't tread on me" like isn't that idea the same idea as the Portland protesters have?
So this is where I had issues too, is that if you go far enough right and you go far enough left, it's circular. You're going to end up meeting in the middle on the other side.
Right.
And they've been fighting basically for the same thing, but they've all had, like I've said before, we all agree on the disease. We all agree on the symptoms, but everyone's fighting over the cure.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to agree on how to cure the problem. And that happened here. We saw it on a micro level here with the different groups in the CHOP. And I've seen it in so many different groups across the nation. Where it hasn't been affected as much is over on the East Coast, where these people are protesting, and they have a very inclusive, very open ideology of understanding. But one of the things that I did see was how these radical groups kind of came out and decided that they were right and you're wrong.
Yeah.
And you're with us or against us. And the problem is that they didn't stop to listen to, like, if you laid out a grid and overlapped it of what you feel like your ideology is and what your ideology is, like, there'd be so much similarity that they'd have to disarm themselves a little bit and appreciate that they could work collectively to try to make a change. And that's what, if anything, if we could do that, that's what I'm hoping people in my stream and the people that I've been exposed to understand, is that collectively we can work to make a change.
Yeah.
And even in a small way, if you can make a change in your life, maybe the microaggressions that you have, you can turn those into micro affirmations. That would be a takeaway of positivity and a win.
I think it's more simple than even you or I. It's more simple than you or I could break it down in terms of what people actually really care about.
Sure.
Because you've got someone living in, like, let's say North Bend, like 45 minutes from Seattle, and they look at Seattle and they go, "You guys are crazy protesters, like breaking the windows, throwing the soup, whatever the fuck, right?"
Right.
But
throwing the soup.
But at the same side of the coin, those people would not want a cop to just waltz into their property and say, "Let me see your guns. You got any extended magazines? You got anything like that?" They hate that. They hate that as much as the protesters hate getting harassed with their backpacks on. And, like, the moment that someone in North Bend sees a Como news report of someone smashing a window and they go, "Look at this senseless, violent destruction," they get so turned off that they're not going to even consider that the person in Seattle wants to get the government off their back just as much as they do.
Sure. I could tell you my thoughts on that right off the bat is that, like, okay, so with the violence and the destruction, that's where I had to turn the corner a little bit too.
Right.
Because what you're doing is you're saying that my methods now are coming into your world and I'm going to affect you so that the change can be made the way I feel it needs to be made. And on either side, that's radically irresponsible on a social level. You shouldn't even expect that I can violate your bubble and tell you that you need to start acting the way I feel you should act for a cause that I deem right. Whether or not you agree with it, I know I'm right. That kind of thing. But when you see things like, this comes to an accountability factor.
Yeah.
So when you see things like Block and they're out there and they would make it clear, like, hey, we're not with, like, these anarchists, or we're not with Antifa, we're not with these separate, the different factions. You're all dressed the same. Everyone looks the same. If you're in Black Bloc, like, you look all the same. So no matter how you want to spin it, that's a uniform. And it's a uniform, and I say that word because I appreciate that. So you have to hold everybody in that group to a higher standard, because once you start eliciting violence and destruction, you've now lost your opportunity to convey a message. But that level of accountability comes down to anybody in uniform. The police, when you have a police force out there, you have to appreciate that everyone else in that uniform, you represent and they represent you. So if you see something that they're doing that shouldn't happen, that's where there needs to be a level of accountability amongst the police officers too. So in all groups, Proud Boys, any of these groups that have been out there, like, and I saw some changes in people. You know, I saw people that were actually looking to, you know, correct their own.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, it's going to come down to like personal involvement on how you interact with the groups that you're in. So, but you're right, it is tough because people get turned off right away when they see certain things that to them are triggers. You know.
Yeah, and you know, it's diversity of tactics, right?
Yep.
So some people think that we're not going to get any exposure unless, let's say, mainstream media comes out and takes a picture of the after effects.
Sure.
Like, it won't be a story unless there's some kind of destruction.
Yeah, there's got to be sensationalism in there somehow.
Do I wish there was a way to get exposure without as much destruction? I guess. It doesn't really bother me one way or the other, to be honest.
Sure.
But would it be better overall to have more people involved, more donations, more financial backing, everything, if people were to look at it and say, okay, well, it's not violent at all. Like, people correspond the violence with the destruction. So some of us think, well, if you take the destruction out of it, then you remove the violence out of the protest, right? But then the thing is, you've got people marching, and I don't know if they're ineffective or not, but it feels sort of ineffective. And so how do you get the exposure without breaking Starbucks' windows?
And see, that's where I, you know, not my monkey, not my zoo type thing.
Yeah.
Where I would say, listen, if they would allow more cameras, like, just let the world see it. Don't block us from filming and showcasing what's happening.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at any takeover of like a government building in any other country, like, the first thing they do is a press release. This is why we did this. This is what we want to see change. These are our demands. And if you're going to destroy a Starbucks or whatever, which, I mean, it's a drop in the bucket for Starbucks. Anyone who's
exactly, and that's
is an argument. Like, that's, you know, it's the company. It's not a problem. What I feel is an issue, if we look further deeper than that, is I have friends that work at Starbucks, two people that I know, the one here in Seattle, and they were out of work for almost a week because they had to like fix up the Starbucks. So they had to downshift, and then they had to go ahead and they were like, well, I'm barely making it as it is. I couldn't work. And they're like, well, just go on unemployment. And they're like, well, that makes half your paycheck basically. So those are people that are affected by the destruction that goes further than just the Starbucks. But
that's a small sacrifice.
Well, but it's not anyone's right to tell someone they have to make a sacrifice for their cause. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't tell that person like, hey, listen, because I'm right, you need to go ahead and take a financial sacrifice for me.
I believe that if Starbucks wanted that window fixed, they could do it in one day, though.
Well, the issue was that they had to downsize their staff because they didn't have a full staff because they knew they weren't going to have the ability to, you know, they weren't going to get the traffic. So yeah, it affected Starbucks. And Starbucks is a tough one to hang up on because it's such a massive conglomerate.
I don't want to take like a situation where a window's broken, someone lost a couple of days of work. Like, do you think we're going to have another one of these next year? Do we think we're going to keep doing this for a full another year, or do we want to rip this Band-Aid off and get it the fuck over with? Because,
which is what needs to happen.
Right, and so either it's got to kick up a notch until someone says, you know what, we're going to do a general strike. We don't want windows broken, but enough people are into this, so no one's going to go to work. I'm like,
right.
We got to start doing that. We got to start putting pressure on the people who are actually running the company, which is not just a couple of politicians, it's the people who own the stuff.
No.
And you know, year after year, we get so caught up in all these details, but so many of these brands that we buy and own are owned by the same like 10 mega billion corporations.
These big globalists.
Right, big globalists. And so we try to do the local politics thing to enact change, but I mean, anyone with a platform knows that we're not going to make worldwide change by doing one thing here in Seattle.
Right. But that's where I would hope that we can appreciate that, like, the focal point. What, the phone died?
Oh, no.
I'll say the focal point I feel for us needs to be, like, on our younger generations.
Yeah.
Like, that's where we can go ahead and teach and involve and make them more involved in local politics where we could actually start seeing that change. Because I think what's happening right now is we're shining a light on the problems and the issues.
Yeah.
But like I said, we need to come with a collective solution. And I think a lot of people are saying this is what's wrong instead of giving viable options for how we can fix the problem. And that's tough. That's tough. Man.
I think if collectively we stop putting up with so much stuff that it becomes like my parents are from like old school farming communities. where I don't want to use the word racist, but they think that, oh, well, this person did this and they need to be arrested and learn their lesson, and that's the way it works because they live on a farm their whole life.
Right.
It doesn't make sense that someone in Seattle would need drug treatment or something. And so I think a lot of people, we need to bring the level of understanding that we have, you and me have here in the urban areas, we need to bring that level of understanding all the way out, because someone was arguing with me last night about who's Republican and who's not. It's like, don't even think about that. It's people who are just trying to live their American dream out on their property, and this is totally alien to them. Like, that's why CHOP was so popular, is because it's like, look at all these crazy people on one side, right?
Yeah.
And now that we're back here again, like, I want to bring focus back to why we were here in the first place. Right. And it was really the George Floyd murder was what started this off. But then when this happened, like, I was standing right here with Trumpet Man. Like, this is the side of when we were all talking. Like, we took that and expanded it further. And so my only takeaway here is we expanded upon what we started in Seattle everywhere. Like, it went, Oregon had the Red House thing. There was another occupied zone. Yeah. And so, like you're saying, the youth is going to be who comes in and takes over from this in probably small ways. Sure. Maybe not another autonomous zone, but in smaller ways. But I think, did we not need this to bring the focus enough so enough people like saw this? Yeah.
This for me, the CHOP for me represented a couple things, but it ended with it was heartbreaking for me to see the way it ended. Yeah. How it ended it was hard for me to see. But one of the hardest things about that was that it had so much traction, so much grit, so much exposure, and we couldn't collectively find a way to make that a platform developing situation that would have made its way out into, like you said, onto a global level. But the entire world was watching though. And everybody that I've talked to said they were just waiting. They were like waiting for that thing to happen. Yeah. That voice to come out that would say, hey, let me tell you what I think we could do. And then start coming up with solutions and start putting pen to paper and making some real changes. Yeah. Because you remember we had thousands of people out here. I remember like standing in the park here and there was, the park was body to body for the entire thing. And it was powerful. And you're like, man, and anybody could get up there with a microphone and say what they had to say. Yeah. And like my whole platform developed in that, elevating voices. I'm like, I'm just praying that every day I come out here that I'm going to find a voice in this crowd that's going to say something that's going to spark that renaissance, that change, that understanding that there is something that we can do, Yeah. And some came and some went, and I'm hoping that as we move forward that inspired people to realize that you have a voice, and if you have a voice, you need to use it, And not just in a way to shout jeers at a crowd, but like reach out to other people, Rally the people around your cause and find a way to put that out in the public eye where they can go ahead and get behind it as well, Yeah. And even if they don't get behind it, at least they can acknowledge it and see it. Because no matter what you do, there's going to be people that agree with you for just as many people that disagree with you, So, but standing by your ethics, standing on and I come from an old school viewpoint too, I'm like maintaining heavy ethics on moral, having a good, strong value system. I think those are important. But I also have a very inclusive mentality where no matter what lifestyle you live, it's your lifestyle to live. I'm not going to judge you harshly because of it. Like, I accept you how you are. Yeah. And I think the world needs to practice more of that and appreciate that you don't need to conform to me to make it better for me to understand you. Yeah. Like, I just need to meet you in the middle and shake hands and say, I don't get it, but I respect you. Yeah.
And that's why I like you, CJ.
I appreciate that.
I've seen some live streams in my day.
Yeah, watched a few, huh?
Watched a couple of those live streams. People your mind would be blown to know how many live streams I've recorded. Yeah. You guys are freaked out about getting arrested. Don't fucking piss me off, because I got everything. No, I'm kidding. I only got.
He's got all the dirt.
I only got like 90%.
That's still a lot more than most.
90.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But the only disturbing part of how things really went down was the rise of people covering these events as pure entertainment and not as what you're trying to do.
Yeah. I appreciate you acknowledging that, because that's my thing has been an informational journey, trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure it out for myself. Yeah. And so for me, I try to ask questions and talk to people that I really feel are going to help me not understand it better, but also like the people that are in my community do the same. And you always have people that are going to hate you no matter what you say or what you do. You know what I mean?
I could see that like you had this like battle in your brain like when you were in the Minnesota and the fires were starting, because you could like you had a job to do, like you're doing your job, right? And then you're like, but this fucking church is on fire.
Yeah.
like okay, and then let's start putting this fire out. And a lot of people are watching this too. Like a lot of people are watching. Like I'm watching a stream while we're watching you.
Right.
And like, of course, there's jokes like CJ the firefighter, right?
Right.
But I think a lot of people like who are I can't stand it when Carlin squat like that. I think a lot of people who are watching it, like that was the moment it went from like you having like 10,000 views up to like 50 or whatever.
85,000.
Yeah, it was like this huge thing, and that was the moment I think where a lot of people who had never even watched the live stream were getting like notifications from their friends and like brothers-in-law, like, check this dude out, he's putting fires out on a live stream. Because we were watching the numbers just, geez, like explode.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is insane. Like, look at CJ's numbers. Like, you've never seen this.
I'd never seen anything like that before either.
And it's like all of a sudden it's like instant like platform because you're literally like live streaming and putting fires out.
Yeah.
It's definitely an accomplishment. But then that was like the moment where you had this kind of internal thing like, well, I'm kind of a journalist, but I think I need to sort of do the right thing. Like you had this is the right thing to do. And you and me in the same way in that respect, as I was trying to film over here when we were getting tear gas, and I had that same thing. I was like, I'm supposed to be holding this camera, but this guy fell over, and so I went over there, and my footage sucks.
But your feelings about what you did there is right.
But when you at that moment when you went, fuck this, I'm putting this fire out, like these guys will have to deal with the shaky footage, like that's also the moment where a lot of people saw you, take sides, and like I saw the people starting to get negative, like, oh, like he's like, what were they even saying? They're like, CJ's on the side of the police because he's like undoing, like he's going around undoing Antifa or whatever. It's just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And like,
and then,
unintelligent people saying that.
And that's the thing is I had to look past the comments because then those same people were like, when I put a tourniquet on Gage's arm after he got shot as a protester, like, oh, well, wait, now he's saving the life of a protester. They're like, well, wait a minute. And I'm like, your indecision is my learning. Like, I'm figuring it out for myself. But the human thing to do here is to, like, houses are getting burned, and I don't want to see that happen. So if I can stop this fire, the fire department can go past it and go put out that fire that's going to burn that family out of their house and home.
But I think, but it helps to snap people out of this picking sides thing. Like exactly,
man. It's not about your side, my side, Democrat, Republican. It's a human thing. It's a humanitarian thing. And that's where people have, like, they've lost their sight on things. It's a humanitarian thing.
Exactly.
And that's where we need to focus our attention, is on the human aspect of it. And that's where the change will come in, I think, when we stop, like, polarizing our children in junior high about, like, who their parents voted for,
Exactly.
Because I covered some Trump rallies out in the Midwest, and, like, saw a kid with a big black eye, and I was, what happened to your eye? You go out to a fight defending my sister. I'm like, what eye? Like, oh, she said that our mom and dad voted for Donald Trump. 10 years old. He got beat up defending his younger sister because of, politics. And I was like, that's terrible. That's atrocious.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I mean, so I punched him in his other eye just to even it out. No, I was kidding. I'm kidding. He would have beat me up. He looked like a tough little bugger. Yeah, man. Sorry, what was your name? Or what do you go by? Or
my channel's Seattle Live.
There we go. Seattle Live.
Seattle Live.
Okay. I got to put a battery in. This thing's about to die on me. I just realized it was at like 10% a second ago. Tangled up in here.
When they kicked all the protesters or the streamers out of the protest, my joke was like Gimbal is like crying right now.
Yeah, because they were booming for sales.
You couldn't even get one. It was like backorder gimbals.
Yeah, it's funny is I still carry mine everywhere I go, but it's kind of like, gimbals were the hot ticket.
There's
man.
like 100 people who have a shelf in their room right now with their gimbal just sitting on it.
Just
got
getting
like 6 months worth of dust on
gather
it.
dust. You can find them online for super cheap right now too. People like it's lightly used. It's
Gimbal,
like yeah.
Like hit by a streamer once.
Yeah, exactly.
Smacked out of an umbrella.
It'll smell like tear gas, but it still works. And that's no joke. I took my old school mic, the one I had, my OG. I took I was getting ready to head out of state, and I unscrewed the metal basket.
Yeah.
And I just, for whatever reason, I don't know why, I smelled it, and it was so full of tear gas, and immediately I was like, eh! and my eyes started watering. I was like, why would I do that? That was not smart of me. That was not intelligent.
Did you see the protest they had like on? It wasn't May Day. It was the next one they had like 2 weeks ago where they de-arrested people.
Yeah.
You saw that, and there's like the guy pulling the de-arrest, and then someone's behind him also pulling his.
Yeah.
De-arrest chain.
Dude, you know what's crazy is I had never seen that before until I went to Portland. I was down there with Ian, and it was the first time I'd ever see someone de-arrest somebody. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, these de-arrests are crazy. So it was the first time I was in like a real police line standoff with like where they were just like, you're in trouble now. Like, so we got backed up into a residential street, and I'm backed up, but I couldn't move back further. And the police are right in front of me, and they've got out the pepper spray, their billy clubs. And the one cop, I was like, I can't go back any further. And he's like, oh, too bad. And so he goes to hose me down, and someone with a shield from behind me like reaches up and covers my face, and it was just, you could hear it like, I was like, oh God, thank you. And then I looked to my left, and this girl with purple hair, like the police grabbed her, they pulled her back, and someone got her by the feet and just like threw her back into the crowd. I was just like, what the hell is happening here, man? What up, man? Oh shoot, what's up, brother? Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
How are you?
Good.
Man, I gotta get out of here, man. I got some other
Hey,
pictures
man.
to take, man.
No, let me get that shake. Thanks. And again, tell them where they can see your show.
It's Seattle Live on Twitch.
Seattle Live on
Seattle
Twitch.
Live.
Money, man. Good
All right,
seeing
see
you,
you
brother.
guys later.
Thanks for the chat. How you doing, brother?
Good, man.
Good to see you again.
Yeah.
Haven't seen you. It's been a couple months now, man.
Yeah, I've been out and about and just working and getting my money up and
Okay.
moving around and just living my life as best I can.
That's all we can hope for, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything good though?
It is looking good.
I love to hear that, man.
Yeah.
Love to hear that. So I'm just switching my mic up right now for a second. Bear with me for a moment.
Yeah, I was watching your streams from Arizona. That's been pretty crazy coverage right there.
Man, that was nuts. I got out in that area, the Mexican desert.
No coverage at all, but hey.
Yeah. I got a thing for that. Yeah, dude. Well, that's a beast you got right there.
Hey, yeah, it's an electric scooter. It's Unagi. The brand is Unagi.
That thing's filthy.
And I'm paying $50 a month for it.
50?
Yeah.
Is it pretty fast?
Yes, 20 miles an hour.
What?
And if we go down here, it's like 27.
Jeez, bro, I would break my neck in a heartbeat.
I tell you, I almost crashed on this 3 times going down the hill.
That's just terrifying, man, in every way. That's good, man. I'm glad to hear things are going good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's here, let me see that battery. I'll go ahead and do this for us. Sorry, we're dying on the battery
I was
here.
at home when I was watching your feed.
Oh, nice, man.
And I don't watch your feed because I do it. And I see at this coffee, a hot dog stand. I'm like, what the heck's wrong with this dude?
Did you catch that?
I did. I was like,
yeah.
See, he's trying to help this dude out. This dude's like, just really trying to get him to see their skin.
Harshing my vibe, man.
For no reason. And he goes, well, I'm just trying to chill. I'm just chilling.
Yeah.
Oh, you're chilling, but yet you're coming at this dude for no reason after he's trying to help somebody out with a water?
Yeah.
For real?
Thank you. That's what I said out there.
Like for real, I'm not the one to like bash anybody, but that dude's a fucking prick.
Yeah, he was like, why are you guys filming? I'm like, I can't even hear you. I'm like,
And well, if you looked it up on Facebook, it's called CJTV Media LLC. Look it up and maybe you'll see where his good content is.
Google me, yo.
For real, he's all over the place.
it's free marketing too. You're literally filming his booth.
Yeah, right. And what the thing is, I was like, man, I'm trying to help him, and he was like, well, then help him. And I was like, do what, man? Like, I'm gonna give him my
Those
debit
type
card?
of people, I'll tell you, those type of people I come across every day at the airport. And what I have to say about that is, I ignore them. Because they don't know anything that we have to do in America. Like, hell, I've been on the front lines as an essential worker since COVID started, okay? He probably hasn't been out here in over 5 months, right? Like, the last 5 months he's been here. But since COVID started, he hasn't been out here.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how it is. Truth be told, I've caught COVID twice.
Yeah.
COVID was hell on hell.
The virus so nice, he caught it twice.
But I got vaccinated. I finally got vaccinated.
There you go.
Vaccinated twice now, so.
You might win something now.
Oh,
might win $1 million.
Hell no.
Man, I was on the ferry today, and they were like, you get a month free ferry rides if you get vaccinated on the boat. They had a whole booth set up, and I was like, what is going on,
Get
man?
vaccinated on the boat?
They had the ferry boat. They had
What about your second one? Did you have to go back to the ferry?
Maybe it's on your return flight. Or your
The return?
Yeah. You get one way.
They'll mail it to you.
I don't know,
They mail
man.
you.
It's tripping me out. I was like, wait, what? Like, I thought you were kidding at first. You said somebody won like a lottery here in Washington.
Yeah, you have a chance to win in the lottery.
I was in there. No, I didn't even know that was happening.
I forgot where it was.
So, I wanted to do a topic today that CJ might be interested in. And so if he's willing to do some questions, I wanted to answer those. So I was running for mayor for the city, and I dropped out.
Of Seattle?
Yes, I was running.
When? When was this?
So I started in January. It was July of last year, I believe, that you had to start filling out all the information to, like, you know, jot down your information, your campaign, all your stuff. Okay, my slogan was called Seattle Make Seattle Great Again. Okay, and I put down.
You really picked a trigger line in Seattle.
I know. But here's why. Because if I had the money and I was able to, you know, win the race, I would have made change for Seattle and African American people or people all around the city that they would actually respect and honor. Because right now, what I see in the city, I don't like seeing it. Like, you know, I go down 3rd Ave and Pike Street, catch a bus. I can't even catch the bus because there's, you know, garbage all along the sidewalks. So I have to go on the other side of my bus, okay? So what my campaign was gonna do is, you know, fix the city up, make some things happen, build a new shelter. Well, obviously that didn't happen because, you know, I didn't realize there was a fee to file. So when the next race comes, I'll be running again. And
Are
this
you
time,
still gonna run to make Seattle great again?
No, actually, honestly, I'm gonna change that slogan up a little bit. I'm gonna make it a little different.
Okay.
No worries on that.
I'm just saying, it was a controversial line for the last
right,
year.
I know,
You know?
because it kind of, you know, I'm a conservative, okay?
Okay.
I'm a conservative, but I know people out here. A lot of people aren't.
Yeah.
No problem. No
Right,
problem with me.
yeah.
I get along with people even if they aren't.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that I served in the United States Marine Corps for 7 years.
Wow. Okay.
And the stuff I've seen and the stuff I saw,
Just put the tripod on.
it's something that nobody out here in public would ever see in their lifetime. Like, they might have some PTSD, they might have been a victim of gun violence or whatever, but as the mayor, as a running for a mayor position, my thoughts and processes are a lot different from what the people view me as. Like, half my family's veterans. Like, my mom was supporting me, my friends were supporting me. I even had a page on Facebook set up. You know, I took it down because I'm not running no more. But the fact of the matter is that Seattle needs to change. And there's a couple people that are running right now that could change it for the better, but I doubt it. The fact of the matter is that who I am is who I'm going to be for the rest of my life.
That's what's up.
And
I respect that.
Me working at the airport 24/7, don't get me wrong, I work for Sound Transit, okay? I work on the platforms there. And, you know, I know y'all have heard about Sound Transit and their fire enforcement officers. I'm not one of those. I'm the security officers. What people don't understand is that the money I got from that was going to a fund. And what bothers me is that because I dropped out of the race, I don't see Seattle holding up to their potential without a person like me. Because just like CJ, he's a good guy, just like me, right? So when he goes up to a hot dog stand and he's trying to help somebody out that maybe, you know, broken down, homeless, looking out of it, trying to help him out, and there's a guy telling him, get out of my space, you don't have no right to film. Well, if you looked up online, he does have a right to film because he's licensed, he has a company name. Like, those type of people, y'all, they don't belong in society with the way they act. Now, I'm not saying that in such a way that people don't dislike him. I'm just saying that that person needs to rephrase what he says and rephrase how he says it to people, because that's how you lose business real quick. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not against the African American community. Some people say I am, but I'm not. Now, a couple weeks ago, because I live up in Lake City, there's a homeless encampment right up there by buses and all that. There's a fire. Okay, so I made a post. Everybody got all tightened and wadded up and said, oh, well, that's not your problem, so why should you care about it? Well, it is my problem. I should care about it because it's in my neighborhood and it affects others around me. And there's a dentist office like right in close vicinity, like literally right next door to where the homeless encampment is. A fire broke out. Mind you, it was meth lab. So all the chemicals and all the debris that was going up in there, there's elderly around.
Right.
And to make it clear, that's what Seattle needs to have change. Like, the homeless crisis in Seattle has gotten so bad that people are moving out of state, or people are moving out of the neighborhoods, or people can't even work downtown no more. And I want to see people work downtown. I want to see people come back. But the truth of it is that may never happen, because who never knows? They might come back. They might just, who knows? Come back and just start their old travel again. Me being from the East Coast, I'm originally from Marietta, a small town in Marietta. I was raised up in Fort Worth a little bit. Washington is my hometown now because I've been living here for 12 years. I've seen different cultures and different societies that I have to respect out here, and I do respect it because what comes with love comes with grace, right? I'm a Christian at heart, okay. Some people may say I'm religious, some people may say I'm not. The fact of the matter is that I support CJ for what he does. He does good coverage for the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, no problem, man. And when he went to the Yuma, Arizona and Mexico border, now I follow a guy named Andrew as well. And he's a streamer as well. Him and CJ were great. Well, CJ is his own man. Andrew's their own man. But they still stream the same type of coverage to show what kind of environment they are going through and crossing the border. Now, if someone asks what exactly goes on, ask CJ. He was there. He was there to live it all. He was there with what was his name?
Jeremy.
Yeah. Jeremy's my friend on Facebook. I added him the same day that CJ's like, add him on Facebook.
Yeah, he was getting hit up. That's good. Yeah.
I was even messaging him today about, hey, tell CJ to get some international data.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. He did hit me up actually. So the message was heard. You get yourself a data plan that comes across the borders.
But it's kind of crazy because it goes two ways. But with me working a job and with me doing what I do and what I see CJ doing out here, it's just like everyone else that has a job, essential work. COVID-19 is serious. I caught it twice. I've recovered from it, okay, but I've gotten vaccinated, all that. I got two shots. No problem, right? Wrong. About a couple weeks ago, I started, as soon as you get the vaccine or whatever, you start feeling sick. I started feeling sick a little bit. Well, that's a common side effect of getting the needle put in your skin and getting the shot, right?
Yeah.
Well, the fact of the matter is that the staff there, when I got that shot, they were so helpful. Like, they got me a water, they got me some food, they got me some everything. They changed me fire department section. They got me up and running in less than 10 minutes. The fact of the matter is that people saying that COVID-19 is fake, it's not fake. It's real. It's out there. People catch it. My family's caught it. My other plan for my campaign was to just help people get the vaccine, to help reopen the state, to help reopen the city. I was gonna be in coordinates and correspondence with, the mayor, myself, Jay Inslee, and it's just like, what good does it do when people are out here being racist and just being so nasty to people for no reason, when you don't even know the person until you get to know him? Like, I've gotten to know CJ for almost a year and a half. Like, he started his coverage up here in CHOP. That was pretty crazy. That was intense. I still remember CHOP to this day because I was part of CHOP for about a month. I was part of the protest when George Floyd got killed, and it was ugly. At least the officer that did kill George Floyd was convicted and is being sentenced.
Yeah.
I forgot when he was being sentenced. I think it was July or August.
I'm not sure exactly.
But the fact of the matter is that why do that to him? unarmed black man when he was doing nothing. Yeah, he was at the counter. He didn't know if it was a real $20 bill or not. Some people say he was trying to walk out and sell items. You don't. The only person that knows that is the clerk. The officers don't know that. They had to go in the store. Well, they came out and they're like, "Well, you stole." Any camera footage? No.
Yeah.
You know what? What good does it do? You know, to kill an unarmed black man when you don't even know half the story, but yet you have 4 officers. One of them putting your knee on a unarmed black man for 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, come on now. Like, I have African American family on my cousin's side, and he has dealt with, you know, violence with the police multiple times. He's went to jail because of it. You know, he's not in jail right now, but he has been. But the fact of the matter is, and I want to get this off the charts, is Black Lives Matter does matter. Whenever I see someone being derogatory or bigotry towards a black human, it pisses me off. I always go to them and stand up for them because their lives do matter, just like ours, just like natives. You know, I'm part native. I'm part of the Masalero tribe out of New Mexico. Lots of people back here
on the way home.
I've got to know.
We'll go on the way home.
I was just wearing my native shirt the other day because I had a parallel
You don't want to go here.
up in Mountain Street.
You don't want to go here. Like,
I don't know exactly. I forgot the location. Something else. But the fact of the matter is that people on CV Extreme need to understand that Black Lives Matter all the time, not just some of the time, all the time. Because the reason why I'm wearing my tactical gear, because it's waterproof. What good can you do? If it rains, I don't get rained on.
It's a smart play. It rains a lot in Washington, and it looks like it's not too far off the rain right now.
The fact of the matter is that I'm a gig worker too. I deliver food to people, okay? Before these people started this stream, okay, I have a scooter. This scooter runs ass down the street. I tell y'all, I love this thing. It's called Unagi. Look it up, y'all. Unagi scooter.
Look it up. It's Unagi.
Yeah.
It rips ass.
Scooter.
20 miles per hour down the street.
50 miles a month? You can't beat that. 20 miles an hour. This is the thing right here. It folds, unfolds. You can put it on the bus. You can take it with you. You know, there's a headlight, there's beaver, all that. It's a good scooter.
My man who actually works for Unagi, he's just plugging it. He's like, yep, this all leads up to you selling scooters. Man,
That's a funny fact, because Razor Scooter just actually emailed me the other day, and I had a conversation with the boss, the CEO yesterday, but yeah, no.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I need a driver's license. I don't have one, but long story short, there's a couple roots around there.
I bet.
But anyways, like I was saying, guys, is that people might disagree, or people might disagree with me, or disagree with me. But the fact of the matter is that I'm not gonna get into politics, okay? But I was
other than running for mayor.
Oh, come on. Yeah, you know.
I mean,
let me straighten this up, guys. Me running for mayor was a good chance at getting experience into what I actually had to do.
There you go.
And actually had to have, and the money I had to take.
Yeah.
This year, it just didn't pan out. Right. And I'll admit it. I'll be honest about that. It didn't pan out, but a few years from now, it should. You'll have me in office. I'll be making some good decisions. Y'all will love me.
All right.
For sure. Y'all will love me because I'll make change the city has never seen. It'll blow your mind. Anyways, the fact of the matter is that if any of y'all see things in this administration that are going haywire, you know why? Well, I do. I don't know if y'all knew this, but I'm going to talk about the president for a minute, okay? The president is a bad man. Some of y'all may say he is, some of y'all may say he isn't. I'll agree with any of y'all opinions.
Joseph Biden?
Joseph Biden is the president of the United States.
Yes.
Okay? But what people do not understand is that in 47 years as a politician, and 30 of those years, he locked up black people. Locked up black people. Put them in prison, put them in jail. Didn't give a fuck about them. So why do we have someone like him in office? Same with Kamala Harris. And her whole entire time as a politician, she locked up black people, especially in prisons. Didn't care about them. Why do you think she doesn't go to Guatemala? Because she's against people that are of color. But she's black herself. So I'm not gonna get into the racial part of that because that's not me.
Right.
But I will respect our administration for what they do, but I won't respect the part that they were against the racial community.
Sure.
Because for them to do that, and I just found out about that literally 6 months before he was elected as president.
Yep.
And in my mind, I was like, really, people are wanting to vote for a person like this in office?
Yep.
What is wrong with these people? You know, wearing masks. I have a handkerchief. I wear a mask when I'm on the bus. Okay, that's the only time I wear it. You know.
Right.
You don't see us wearing masks. You know why? Because we aren't afraid of what people say. I lived out in the country for seven of my years. I'm 30 years old right now. Okay, I'm about to be 31 this year.
Yeah, well, happy early birthday, man.
You know, thank you. You know, and 7 of those years I lived in the countryside. Never seen anything like it.